Thank you very much, Duko, for the introduction. And thank you for joining, and welcome to my presentation. I was invited to speak about my company's unique approach to user-generated content and how it can help your company and your brand to pave the way to more inclusive product images. You probably don't know me or my business, so let me give you a quick introduction and tell you my story. I moved to the Netherlands to study fashion management in Amsterdam. And during my study, I started working for local lingerie brands. And what I realized very quickly was that not only in the Netherlands, but really all over Europe, you have these big dominating market players that dominate the industry. And at that time, there was little talk about sustainability, and also body positivity and diversity wasn't really on anyone's mind. And however, working in the stores and being able to talk to consumers, I realized that there is definitely a need for more transparent production methods and a more contemporary approach, I would say, to femininity and diversity. Being a lingerie nerd myself, I knew all these small, independent, and sustainable brands that catered specifically to these needs with their collections that were made in a sustainable and ethical way, and were much more size inclusive than what you could find here on the high street. So I thought, why not just create a platform, essentially a retail business, that curates all these small, sustainable, and independent brands, because they are really hard to find, because they are so small and they're spread all across the world, and bring them together in one web shop and make it very easy for women in the Netherlands and in Europe to buy and discover these brands. And that's exactly what I did. That is my business, The Lingerist, today. And it's essentially centered around the needs of women. So what is very much in our focus is sustainability, but also body positivity. And we're very much tapping into this for women, by women approach. I'm here to talk about user-generated content. And to get to that, I have to bring you back to the moment that I launched the business. And that was in March 2020. And I'm sure you all remember the moment when the lockdown started, when nobody knew what was going on or how long the situation would last, really. And that happened to be the exact day when I started my business. When I started full-time, I had just quit my secure full-time job and was finding myself in the situation of launching the business as a first-time entrepreneur into an economic crisis. And that, as I'm sure you can all relate to, brings around like its own set of challenges. But a huge problem was that all the photo shoots that I had planned to photograph my inventory, to sell my inventory, to get my business off the ground were cancelled because photo shoots were not safe due to Corona. Being a retailer, I had the luxury to fall back on the lookbook images that my brands provided me. And while that wasn't really the aesthetic that I was going for, I was more looking at fashion e-com giants like Zalando or ASOS. You can all envision these products, images like white backdrop, beautifully styled outfits, professional models. So that was what I had in mind for The Lingerist. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen, so I had to use the product images that my suppliers provided me. And this is pretty much how the collection pages looked like in March 2020. So you have a mix of different aesthetic styles, and it's not really coherent, but it was good that I had to do this, that I didn't have a choice, because what I learned very quickly was that the products that sold the best were not the ones that were photographed in the most professional environment, shot by professional photographers with perfect lighting and sharp details, like, for example, these pictures. No, they're like the classic e-com fashion product images. But the products that sold the best were actually the ones that told a story. Like, for example, these three, that when you look at them, there is a feeling that you get, and you kind of want to be that person sitting in that picture wearing that set of underwear and like relaxing next to a pool or chilling in a beautiful hotel room somewhere in Mexico. And that was a huge aha moment for me, because I had underestimated that aspect of storytelling. And I know we are all obsessed in e-com with the storytelling around our brands. So that was a huge learning point for me there. I still had a big issue, though, because I'm sure you notice when you look at these product images, most of the pictures that I received featured white, Western, skinny girls. And my business was essentially built around the need for more size inclusivity and diversity. So those did not reflect the values that we carry as a company. And inclusivity and diversity were still lacking. And then I got to thinking about influencer marketing. And I'm sure you all have experience with influencer marketing in one way or another. So if you can send products to influencers and you sort of blindly trust them to take beautiful, pleasing images of your products, and then why can't you send those same products to someone who you know has an equally good understanding of what makes a beautiful picture and just doesn't happen to have this huge amount of following on social media? And I thought, why not just run a campaign, an ad campaign? And we ask women of all backgrounds and ages and sizes to model for us, and then we explain to them that this is not the conventional way of modeling, but we will just send them products, like influencers, and they get to take the pictures themselves at home, so all safe with Corona and risk-free, and they get to photograph themselves in the way that they want to be seen and that they feel the most beautiful. They get to keep the products for free and send us the pictures in return. And that ad had such a high engagement rate, it was amazing, and we suddenly found ourselves with this big group of inspiring women of all backgrounds and different styles and personalities, which was wonderful to do. And they not only wanted to model for us, but through this strategy, we were really able to tap into that collaborative culture that helped us to build a tight-knit community around the brand, because these women were not just models, they actually became our ambassadors in the process, which was beautiful to see. And I do want to show you some results. So this is pretty much how the collection pages look like today. So every single photo is taken by the model themselves or their roommates or partners or sisters. And every picture tells its own story, because everyone has a different personality and a different approach and a different style. And I'm sure you can see none of these pictures are shot in professional environments and not by professional photographers, and they don't feature professional models, but just women who are passionate about what we're doing and who want to help convey this message. Most importantly, however, these pictures are authentic. And being a sustainable brand, we want to make sure that everything we do from beginning to end is authentic, all the communication. Obviously, we wouldn't be continuing this strategy if it didn't have a lot of advantages. We continue to receive great feedback from our customers, because this is something that is not usually done on such a scale. And these pictures really help our customers to identify with the environments and with the models in our pictures, and we put like size descriptions on the bottom to help even more. And one thing that was actually not anticipated from exploring this strategy was that it helped us to strengthen the partnerships with our suppliers, because suddenly we had all these diverse images, and we were able then to share them with our suppliers, with our partner brands, for them to post them on social media and tag us. And this was very valuable content for these brands. And it definitely helped to build more trust and a more collaborative approach to these business partnerships, and definitely much more than if we just had a monetary transaction 2 times a year during the sell-in season. And yeah, I would say if your company or the company that you are affiliated with is sharing any of these values with the Lingerist, and I'm sure you do, because which company doesn't want to be authentic, I would highly recommend you try to explore user-generated content and try to incorporate it in your customer journey and see what the reactions are and see what it does to your storytelling and how it can help bring your values more to the center front. And before I leave you, I want to personally invite you to our first ever offline pop-up shop in Amsterdam from the 19th to the 25th of July, where you can discover the collection of the Lingerist in person. Like I said, offline, we're super excited to do this for the very first time. And you can find more information about our pop-up shop, of course, on our website or on Instagram, or just by emailing us. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jules.
Thank you.
I'm curious, now that Corona is maybe fading away and shops can open and maybe you can do the professional photo shoots again, how are you looking towards the future now with this experience in mind?
Yeah, indeed. That's the fact that shops are open again is definitely opening a lot of opportunities to expand the strategy. But this strategy that we are following now with the user-generated strategy, user-generated content, is kind of our USP right now, and our customers love it. So we would never give that up and change it to some kind of like anonymous and like neutral product photography. But there are definitely some ideas to work with the models that we already have and organize a photo shoot with them all together to bring further this collaborative spirit and the community feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Is there any questions in the audience? All right, I'm gonna walk to you with the mic.
Where did you advertise for the models, to look for the models, and also how did you screen them?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question. The ad that we ran was like super small, just like in the Netherlands, like in the Amsterdam region, because we didn't want to ship the products all over the world for this experiment. So we just ran it on Instagram stories, very easy. And the screening process is that the girls fill in a form, they upload some pictures of themselves, just their face, their body. It doesn't have to be in underwear, it can just be, you know, the normal outfits. And we, of course, make sure that they're over 18, but also that they have the capability to take nice pictures. So we look at their pictures, like how is the lighting, how do they pose, you know, how confident are they in front of the camera, and we check out their social media and see, you know, does their visual style fit what we are trying to go for. So we don't so much look at how the women look like, but more what is their capability to take beautiful images that we can use to sell commercial products. Yeah.
Did I answer your question? Yeah.
Yes. How would you approach user-generated content on video? But now you showed only pictures. Because in the future you would take campaigns in video.
Yeah, that is, so I try to do that with the very first bunch of products that we sent out. But my experience is that people are less confident with taking videos of themselves than they are with photos. Like, it's super easy to take a photo, but it's hard to take a good-looking video from the right angle, you know, and like think about what are you going to do in that video. So we received some videos that were sent in, but not really something that we can like approach on a larger scale, because, like, as I said, most of the models are not quite as confident to explore that channel with us. So yeah, but I think depends also on the product. Like, I think it's also underwear, right? Like, not everyone is quite as comfortable.
Maybe they can review your product.
Yes.
And
yeah.
post.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's easy.
How do you advertise on Facebook with such explicit content and still comply with the policies?
That's a very good question. It's experimentation. So some of the images that we have are not transparent, and then we're okay. For example, this lady here in the bodysuit is perfectly fine with Facebook advertising guidelines, but we try to find our ways around it. You know, we work with pack shots for the ads or animations, like text animations. I do some flat lays here and there, but yeah, no, that's an issue. Like whenever we run an ad, there's a good chance that it does get rejected.
Any more questions? All the way in the back. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, hello.
Hi.
Before you start sending like the lingerie to the models, do you make any contract with these persons?
No, we don't make a contract. We do have a phone call where we explain to them how the process will work, and yeah, just introduce them to the company and what we're standing for and what we're looking for, and yeah, we don't want to like overwhelm them too much, with like contractual things and legal matters. So far we've never had like any bad experience. So we don't really see a need upfront to do a contract. Of course, after we receive the pictures, we ask our models to sign a form. They allow us to use these pictures for commercial purposes and to have them on the website and to see them on social media and in ads.
I understand. And for the shipping costs, who is paying that?
We are paying that. It's a very low cost when you think about how much usual products, photo shoots would cost. So yeah, if you just consider the shipping cost and the product cost, because the girls get to keep that underwear, it's very, very minimal.
Thank
you. What are your unique selling points in comparison with brands like Hankemuller? Pricing, service?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Hankemuller was actually the company I was working for, so or one of the companies I was working for. So, like I said, there was a big lack in the communication about sustainability. I know they're trying to improve that, but it's not one of their core values, right? You don't go to Hankemuller and think like, okay, now I'm going to buy all ethical, all sustainable. So that is one thing. And then, of course, also, like I said, the whole visual aesthetic at the time, it was very much very skinny, very white, which is something that they have improved on immensely, which I think is great. But yeah, it's again the thing, like they adapted to this development while we have it at the heart of it. I think our most important USP, to answer your question, is that we have the curation of different brands. So we have different styles, something a bit more elegant, something a bit more simple, something a bit more extravagant. And Hankemuller, being a brand, cannot explore all of these different styles. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
More questions? No hands so far. I'm curious to the audience, is there anyone that is inspired now by maybe trying the user-generated content for their own company, or their own brand? There we go.
Great.
No, I'm just inspired. Oh, you're just inspired. Just inspired. Okay, well, definitely contact Jules for...
Absolutely.
Would you care to elaborate on it, or... No, that's what you get when you ask a closed question. All right. Is there anyone else in the room that would like to interact right now? No? Would you like to add in a final word?
No, just that. Thank you very much for coming and for listening. I hope you're going to take something away from this.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.